Hey y'all, today's Saturday, October 19th. It is Specter Saturday. Today we're going to be looking at the Holt BladeWorks Specter. This is one of my favorite knives, probably one of my most valuable knives, only because of the rarity. But enough, I can tell you all the details in the video. Let's take a look. So let's get excited, guys. Oh, and I wanted to start saying this. If you guys could really support the channel and hit the subscribe button, that really does make a difference. And if you could just take a look at my 30-40 second shorts, it really does make a difference. Anyway, here it is, guys. We're gonna go ahead and open this baby up. Now, all the materials, the COA, that's in a different area. I don't keep it with the knife. Here is the knife. Comes in this beautifully felt lined pouch. I mean, this is, your knife will never get messed up in here. And here is the knife. This is the Holt BladeWorks Specter in the feather milling pattern and a burnished finish on the scales. I don't, like, you guys, I don't know. Angie and Joe over at Holt BladeWorks really know how to do a great knife. But what makes this one even more special, guys, and this is why I get so excited, we have this inlay. Now, this isn't just a regular inlay. It looks like it could be some crazy material, but you'd be surprised to find out it's 25,000-year-old stabilized mammoth molar. Or mammoth, whichever. One of the mammoth tooths. There's molar and then one out of the other tusk or whatever. But this is a mammoth inlay. And they only have done one so far of the Specters with the mammoth. There's 4 mammoth knives, I think, that they've done so far. They got, I think, 4 or 5 billets from I think it's Kirisoka on Instagram, who does a lot of the stabilized stuff. And this one just turned into such a beautiful inlay. Now let's go over a little bit of the overall specs on this knife. So the blade is 3.6 inches. Now this is sporting a damasteel nidhogg pattern, damasteel blade, polished up. I mean, it's so polished you can literally see me in the camera. But it's so cool. It is such a great pattern. And what I love about this damasteel pattern is that it's completely symmetrical. I love that. It is so neat. We have full titanium scales. It's such just a beautifully done knife. Angie is the one who finished it. You know, Joe and Angie make the knives. And she just decided to leave it super clean. It's so clean. She didn't need to add like a crazy clip, a crazy spacer, collars. The inlay and blade speak for themselves. So with that being said, the width on the blade is 130 thou. It's the thickness of the blade stock. And 61, 62 HRC. And I think that's with the cryo on the M390. But this obviously is damasteel. It's probably 60 somewhere, 59, 60 in the HRC. I don't really cut with this knife or use it. Obviously, this is more of a collector piece, but the handle is 4.5 inches. The width of the handle is just under a ½ inch. The overall size when open is 8.15 inches from bottom to tip. The weight is 3.6 ounces. And yes, there is internal milling on these. You guys cannot, oh yeah, you can see that little pocket there. And then, let's see. I know they put it on here. I just don't know where. But in here it says like Holt BladeWorks Specter, yada yada. The action on these knives is crazy from the box. I mean, they use really nice Delrin caged bearings. I think they get them from Tie Connector. They're black. You know which ones I'm talking about. You can see them in there. You can actually see them. If I need a better setup, but you can see them It's got tie connector hardware. You have one screw here, you have two here, and then everything else just comes apart. This is really something else. This knife has impressed me so much. I have so many people who have hit me up about this knife as well. Holt is the company that got me into high-end knives. 100%. I had a friend like 2 and 3 years ago who, you know, you kind of have friends for a moment in the knife community, but he was like, yo, I love my Morpheus. I love my Morpheus. You need to get a Morpheus. It's in your pocket. And you know what I was carrying then, guys? A Strider SMF Performance Series. Anyway, I'm disappointed in myself. I love Strider, but Strider's done. I know that there's so many of those Hinder and Strider fans, but it's like, yo, we got this. We got things like this. This is the Morph. This is a family. Look at that. You could see how similar they are. The action. Woo! And they both just shut. Now, this knife is about the Specter. So my overall thoughts and feelings on this knife are, it really doesn't get much better. The hollow grind on this blade is just perfect. 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 The mirror polish is perfect. There's not one mark on the blade, not one weird spot on the blade. It is absolutely freaking insane. And then the inlay. So I've had 2 inlaid Holts. I had a Morpheus that had an inlay, and I have this one. The Morpheus inlay came up just about maybe like less than an eighth, maybe a 16th of an inch off the scale, so it gave it a little bit of texture. This one is flush. And you can see like how amazing, like it's milled out even right there, right? It's milled out there, and the whole inlay's milled. It's not smooth. And if you really look at it, you can see the texturing like right there of the actual inlay. So there's texture on the inlay. It's funny, when I saw Angie at Syndicate this year, 2024, and I was carrying this knife because I was like, I'm at Syndicate, I might as well carry a Syndicate knife. First time I ever carried it in a leather sheath. However, I gave this back to her so she could hold it, and it was so funny. She opened it, and she's just like, and I'm like, you do realize you made that knife, right? And she's just, they are the best. They really are. They took me in right away. They helped, like, I know I have a really weird journey when it comes to the high-end knife collecting. You know, a lot of guys get in good with, you know, collectors and then do a lot of secondary stuff. But I don't buy off the secondary. I buy straight from the freaking manufacturer. And I will wait. It doesn't matter how long I will wait. I will wait, and I will make sure that I get a knife from the person that I want. Because you know why? I like supporting makers directly. I don't want to give somebody else money. Not somebody who didn't make the knife. So, like, I waited in line. Angie was so nice to me that first year, too. Like, she knew I was coming to get this knife because this was on the table. And like I told you, there haven't been any more made that I know of personally. I don't know. It's a retired knife. They made one. I got so lucky with this, guys. Table price, I'm sure you can imagine what it was. Again, we don't talk price in this show. So table price was pretty high. But at the end of the day, what a great knife. Want to know why? It's just perfect every time. How can you get a better action than that? You know what's really cool, and I like to talk about the proprietary stuff, and I don't know if it is proprietary, but I wish you could see this. Okay, so the detent there, you see that detent right there? You're that like, okay, maybe I can point it out with like this. So that little nub right there, it's a detent nub, and that's what gives them the ability to get that drop shutty. It's like there's absolutely no friction. Once it passes that nub, the friction is gone, and it just sorry, that was my fault. And it just falls shut. This knife is above, beyond, way beyond, like 40 million miles beyond reproach. You can absolutely tell by the design and style. Look at this, how sleek it is, how sick it is, the lines, the angles, the milling pattern, the hardware, the everything, right? They were aerospace engineers, like straight up aerospace engineers. Like that's how, I think that's how they met and like got married and all that. But like, how cool is it that we have aerospace engineers in the knife community making us knives when they could be out there making nuclear bombs and shit? I'm not saying like that in a weird way. I'm just saying when you're that experienced with engineering and you're an aerospace engineer, give them a 5-axis CNC and see what they can make. I guarantee they'll make some pretty sweet stuff. But you guys, this knife, if you ever have a chance to get your hands on a Specter, because most knives are between 7.5 and 7.8 inches these days, at least in the EDC community. That's like where we're at right now. And this one's 8.15. So it gives you just like that little, like, you really get a grip on this bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there is a full, you get full 5-finger, no problem. You can even choke up onto the little flipper tab, which is super functional. However, I wish they kind of, like, I know I'm not a knife designer, but they could have brought this down at an angle. Okay, they could have brought this down at an angle, made this a lot smaller, angled the jimping down, and then taken this down and made this half of what it was, and it would still be very functional. But that's my only critique. So, like, after all that said, guys, I mean, the Holts are just amazing. And honestly, right now, what's really cool is you can go onto their website and you can get a plain Jane model. You can order a plain Jane model, and they'll build it for you and send it to you. So it's really cool. Holt BladeWorks. Check them out. If you haven't checked them out, check them out on Instagram. I'll link their Instagram and their Facebook. They have a couple pages on Facebook. The Pride page is the best page, so Holt BladeWorks Pride. And you guys, and I don't play around. Like, I carry certain things every day, and that's my hypercut. This is my Holt BladeWorks coin. I keep it in a little case. It's number 99. You can't see it. Number 99. I love 99. My sobriety date is 99. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, you guys, I digress. At the end of the day, as a knife collector and a knife enthusiast, I think this is one of the best EDC knives ever made. And Metal Complex agrees that it could very well possibly be that. So, but he's got so many of his favorite top knives. But this is one of the best ever. And it's such a stark contrast to something like my Maverick Ren. But like, so good. It's so good. That flipper action, because I like multiple ways. I like front flipping, real flipping, front flipping, thumb flipping. But like, this just takes the cake, y'all. It takes the cake. So anyway, too long of a video already. I'm going to stop it. Blade Boss scale, 10 hands down. This one is so special with that mammoth inlay. So beautiful. Anyway, you guys, so that's it for today. It's Specter Saturday. It's whatever Saturday you want it to be. So go out, grab a knife, and put it in your pocket. And with that said, Blade Boss is signing out.